Africa holds some of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth. Landscapes so ancient, so powerful, and so dramatic that they change the way we see our planet. Imagine standing at the edge of a desert, older than human civilization, walking beneath waterfalls that roar like thunder, climbing mountains that rise straight from the clouds, or exploring forests where animals found nowhere else on Earth leap between the trees. Today, we journey across a continent shaped by wind, water, fire, and time. A continent that contains some of the most spectacular landscapes the world has ever seen. Welcome to All About Africa, the channel where we explore the beauty, culture, and wonder of this incredible continent. If you enjoy learning about Africa's untold stories, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us continue bringing you more meaningful and exciting content. Today, we're exploring the most beautiful landscapes in Africa. And trust me, this journey will leave you inspired. The Sahara, the endless golden empire. The Sahara is a world of its own, stretching across 11 countries and covering an area almost the size of the United States. It is the largest hot desert on Earth. But it's far from empty. The Sahara is a mosaic of towering dunes, rocky plateaus, ancient mountains, and hidden oases where palm trees grow along sparkling blue pools. Some of its dunes rise higher than 500 meters, taller than many skyscrapers, and they shift with the wind like waves in a golden sea. During the day, the desert glows yellow and orange. At sunset, it turns deep red. And when night falls, the sky becomes a blanket of stars so bright and so clear that you can see the Milky Way stretching across the heavens. Beneath these sands lie secrets of the past, fossilized whale bones, petrified forests, and ancient riverbeds that prove the Sahara was once a lush, green savanna. Today, the legendary Tuareg tribes still cross this desert the way their ancestors did, guiding caravans through the vast, silent expanse. Mount Kilimanjaro, 5 worlds in one mountain. Rising majestically above the plains of Tanzania, Mount Kilimanjaro is Africa's tallest peak, a freestanding volcanic giant that climbs to nearly 6,000 meters above sea level. What makes Kilimanjaro extraordinary is that as you ascend, you travel through 5 completely different ecological worlds. At its base, you begin in dense rainforest, filled with colobus monkeys jumping between trees. Higher up, the forest gives way to moorlands with strange, giant plants that look almost prehistoric. As you continue climbing, the landscape shifts again into a high-altitude desert, cold, dry, and silent. And finally, at the summit, you reach a world of ice. Ancient glaciers stand like white walls under the blazing sun, a breathtaking contrast against the African sky. On a clear morning, Kilimanjaro's snowy peak floats above the clouds like a mountain suspended in the air, a sight that has inspired explorers, writers, and adventurers for generations. The Namib Desert, a painting created by time. On the western coast of Namibia lies the Namib Desert, believed to be the oldest desert in the world, unchanged for more than 50 million years. This desert is famous for its towering red dunes, shaped by powerful Atlantic winds. Some of them stretch hundreds of meters high and cast enormous shadows across the sand at sunrise and sunset. In the heart of the Namib lies one of the world's most surreal landscapes, Deadvlei. Here, a white clay pan sits between blazing orange dunes, and in the middle stand the dark, dried skeletons of camel thorn trees that died almost 900 years ago. They have never decayed, preserved perfectly by the desert's dry air. Despite its harshness, the Namib is full of life. Fog drifting in from the ocean gives moisture to beetles, geckos, and even desert lions. And scattered across the sand are ancient plants like the welwitschia, a bizarre species that can live for more than 1,000 years and grows only 2 leaves in its entire lifetime. Victoria Falls, the smoke that thunders. On the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, the Zambezi River suddenly plunges into a deep chasm, creating the largest curtain of falling water on Earth. Local people call it Mosiotunya, the smoke that thunders, and when you see it, you understand why. The falls stretch almost 2 kilometers wide and drop more than 100 meters, sending a powerful cloud of mist into the sky. This mist rises so high that it creates its own rainforest filled with unique plants and birds. On some nights, when the moon is bright, the spray creates something magical. A moonbow, a rainbow that appears in silver instead of color. Viewed from above, the Zambezi River splits into many channels before crashing together in one massive line of white water. It is one of the most dramatic natural scenes on the planet. The Serengeti and Masai Mara, the Great Plains of Life. Across northern Tanzania and southern Kenya stretch the endless grasslands of the Serengeti and the Masai Mara, perhaps the most iconic landscape in Africa. This is the stage for the Great Migration, the largest movement of land animals anywhere in the world. Every year, more than 1 million wildebeest, accompanied by zebras and gazelles, travel in a giant circle across the plains in search of fresh grass. Their journey is filled with danger. crocodiles waiting in the rivers, lions stalking through the grass, and storms rolling across the savanna. The landscape itself is just as striking as the wildlife. Golden fields stretching to the horizon, acacia trees standing like umbrellas in the wind, and ancient granite outcrops called koppies, where lions rest and watch the plains. At sunset, the sky burns orange and purple, and the silhouettes of giraffes walking across the horizon look like a scene from a dream. It's no wonder this landscape inspired the opening of The Lion King. Madagascar's rainforests, an island of secrets. Off the eastern coast of Africa lies Madagascar, an island so unique that more than 90% of its wildlife exists nowhere else on Earth. Separated from the continent for millions of years, Madagascar evolved like a world of its own. Inside its rainforests, lemurs leap from tree to tree, chameleons shift colors as they move across branches, and rare frogs hide among orchids and vines. In the west, the Tsingy de Bimaraha rises like a stone forest, sharp limestone pinnacles stretching toward the sky, carved by centuries of rain and wind. Madagascar is also home to ancient baobab trees, whose massive trunks look like they were planted upside down. Along its coastline, turquoise waters meet white sand and coral reefs filled with brilliant marine life. Everywhere you turn, Madagascar feels like a living museum, exotic, untouched, and endlessly surprising. Lake Malawi, the Lake of Stars. Stretching through Malawi, Mozambique, and Tanzania lies Lake Malawi, a massive freshwater lake often described as one of the most beautiful in the world. Its waters are unbelievably clear, shimmering in shades of deep blue and turquoise. Lake Malawi is home to more species of fish than any other lake on Earth, especially colorful cichlids that seem to glow beneath the surface. Along its shores, peaceful fishing villages sit between rocky hills and sandy beaches that look like a tropical paradise. At night, fishermen paddle out using lanterns that create a galaxy of floating lights across the water. This magical scene led explorers to call it the Lake of Stars. The Drakensberg, the Dragon's Back. In South Africa and Lesotho, the Drakensberg Mountains rise in dramatic, jagged peaks. Their cliffs form some of the highest and most rugged terrain in the region, with deep valleys, rolling hills, and rivers that carve their way down toward the plains. Hidden among these mountains are ancient rock paintings created by the San people, telling stories of hunts, rituals, and everyday life thousands of years ago. Waterfalls spill down from tall basalt cliffs, including Tugela Falls, one of the tallest waterfalls in the world. During winter, frost settles on the peaks, giving the mountains a mystical silver glow. The Drakensberg is both a natural wonder and a cultural treasure. a landscape that feels timeless and sacred. The Okavango Delta, a miracle in the desert. In Botswana, the Okavango River flows into the Kalahari Desert, and instead of reaching the sea, it spreads outward, creating one of the most extraordinary ecosystems on Earth. The Okavango Delta is a maze of winding channels, lush islands, and sparkling lagoons that appear in the middle of an otherwise dry and dusty landscape. Every year, floodwaters arrive during the dry season, turning the desert into a rich oasis. Elephants wade through the water, lions stalk along the islands, hippos wallow in the channels, and countless birds gather in the trees. From above, the delta looks like a giant network of blue veins running across green land, one of the most stunning aerial scenes in Africa. The Ethiopian Highlands, the roof of Eastern Africa. High above Ethiopia rise the Highlands, a vast dramatic region known as the roof of Africa. With towering cliffs, deep valleys, and giant plateaus, the Highlands have some of the most dramatic views in the world. In the Simien Mountains, steep ridges drop into massive gorges that seem to stretch forever. This is the home of the gelada baboon, the only primate that feeds mostly on grass, and the rare Walia ibex, which climbs impossibly steep cliffs. The Ethiopian Highlands are also the birthplace of the Blue Nile, whose waters eventually flow all the way to Egypt. Scattered across the mountains are ancient monasteries perched on rocky peaks, filled with centuries-old manuscripts and revered by pilgrims. The Highlands feel like a kingdom in the clouds, wild, ancient, and unforgettable. Africa's landscapes are more than just beautiful. They are deep, ancient, and filled with life. From thunderous waterfalls to silent deserts. From grassy plains to cloud-kissed mountains. These places show the soul of Africa in all its power and beauty. If you enjoyed this journey, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to All About Africa. Your support helps us continue exploring this incredible continent and bringing you more inspiring stories. In our next episode, we delve into legendary African kings and warriors who ruled with power and vision. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.